Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on this podcast today. We're going to be speaking to the one and only Brandon Barber. Ladies and gentlemen, today's guest is a true force of transformation in the entrepreneurial coaching space. With 25 years of experience and over 1 million lives impacted, Brandon has built an extraordinary career helping business owners break through invisible barriers and unlock their hidden potential. This isn't just a business coach. Brandon describes himself as a pattern breaker and a truth teller who creates a safe space for entrepreneurs to get real about their challenges while discovering the unique genius they already possess. Having personally battled cancer, fear, anxiety, and numerous setbacks that would stop most people in their tracks, he doesn't just teach transformation, he embodies it, ladies and gentlemen. Brendan's track record speaks volumes. Over 100 courses created, generating more than 10 million in revenue by helping entrepreneurs turn their life's experiences into valuable, marketable expertise. His superpower is awakening the genius, reframing adversity, and guiding clients to create courses and businesses that align with their authentic selves. From his own journey, from survival to thriving, Brandon has developed an uncanny ability to see what others miss, the hidden blocks, the silent saboteurs, and limiting patterns that keep talented people stuck. And today, he is here to help us recognize that gold we've all been sitting on. Please join me today in welcoming Brandon to the show. Hey, Brandon, so good to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We're going to be diving into some really cool stuff and learning a little bit about you and what you do and how you're helping people today. So I'm really excited about this. I'm really interested to get into your journey. So as we get started with Brandon, could you describe yourself as a pattern breaker and a truth teller forged by your journey from surviving and thriving? Can you share some defining moments when you first realized the patterns holding you back and what embodied you to break through?
Yeah, I think I remember my late 20s struggling immensely with anxiety. I literally had an anxiety attack a day for 3 years
Wow.
until I became agoraphobic. Like I'd have a panic attack in a grocery store, so I stopped going to the grocery store. I'd have a
Wow.
panic attack in the movie theater, so I stopped going to the movie theater. Pretty soon I stopped going anywhere because I'd have panic attacks everywhere I went. Literally became agoraphobic and stuck. I mean, trapped. And I knew there was something. I mean, there's a mental fortitude. I had to dive into some tenacity. I had to find some, I had to get through this adversity in some way, shape, or form. And just started researching and reading and listening and taking part in as much as I possibly could. So I was reading, a self-development book a week. I was engaged in as much information as I could absorb to move through this and shift out of this, to get to a different space in my life because I was stuck. So learning the process of adversity, or the process of resilience in adversity, was a game changer for me in my late 20s. And moving through that, had numerous situations since then where we've had to pivot in our business. 2019, I got a cancer diagnosis. Um, that was uh, a really rude awakening. That was the result of not taking care of my health for too long, right? So there's an old Roman proverb that says, "Fate will help the willing, and those who won't, she will drag."
Boom.
Well, I waited to get drug, so my health issue drugged me and said, "Hey, you have cancer. Now you have to deal with it." So I didn't volunteer before to take care of my health, but I got drugged to it. And again, more adversity. How do I tackle this? More resilience. 2020, our business went from 9 employees and a very healthy revenue to 0 employees and no revenue overnight after COVID hit. Um, Another moment to like, I got to overcome this adversity and become resilient here. How do we pivot? How do I pivot? How do I pivot? I feel like our entire life, my entire life, and our entire business is a result of welcoming discomfort and pivoting in our lives, pivoting and shifting what we're doing, and that's ultimately being resilient, being resilient. So those are the three big examples that I can give in my life where I've had to tap into this resilient mentality to overcome the struggle that was, at my feet.
So good. Resilience is a very important characteristic for entrepreneurship, right? It has to be uh, forged, as you will, in business and life, right? And it's a fundamental principle that you've navigated an immense challenge. You've gone from battling cancer, which is huge, right? And it's a big knock to anybody, right? And you've gone to building a multi-million dollar business, and that's huge. It takes a lot of tenacity and courage to do that. But what internal mindset shifts was most critical during your toughest setbacks, and how do you help others access that same courage and awakening their genius?
I'm a creature of, I think we all are to some degree of needing certainty and really craving um, comfort. And what was required in all of my resilience, if you will, was being able to be uncomfortable, to be able to welcome discomfort. I remember, I think I've heard this from, I think it was a Tony Robbins quote, but the level of success in your life and your business is in direct proportion to how much uncertainty you're willing to tolerate.
Wow.
And that really was it for me. How much discomfort can I sit with? How much uncertainty can I live with and actually welcome it and know that it's growth and opportunity? And so for me, my biggest mind shift for me is to not need comfort so much, not have to be comfortable, not have to be always taking care of my discomfort. If I feel discomfort, I fill it with food, or I feel discomfort, I fill it with something I've got to do, or I've got to get rid of my emotion. But really being able to sit with discomfort and grow and learn from it, because I ask myself, how am I learning? What am I growing? So that someday I might be able to serve somebody in the future, whether it's, a client that I work with or it's one of my kids. But how is what I'm going through helping me learn and grow so that I can serve somebody in the future? So it's the welcoming of discomfort is the big mind shift I had to get around.
Welcoming of discomfort. I really like that. And you feel that awakens the genius inside.
Totally.
Welcoming discomfort. Yeah. I
You're
love
not
the
busy trying
context.
to find something to get rid of it all the time, right? You're not constantly
Yeah.
trying to find something to get rid of the way you feel so you just feel great all the time. It's like I think you're either having a great time or you're learning. But
Oh, so true. And
yeah,
it's I find that it's that exactly what you're just saying is letting go of the fear and just accepting where you are and focusing forward to where you need to go. That is so good. I love that context. So you've got your superpower as awaken genius in others, or awakening the genius in others. I love the context of this, or the idea of this, and maybe you can dive a little bit deeper into this. But what does that process look like when you're working with people who feel ordinarily stuck? What's the first sign someone is about to unlock something extraordinary within themselves? What does that look like?
yeah, because I think everybody already has the answers inside them. It's not that we don't have new stuff that we can help them with, or somebody has something new to help them with. Um, but I think the answers are there. And what I practice is a form of validation. We call it intrinsic validation. Intrinsic validation is the art of listening to understand. Most of us hold back cooperation and productivity just because. I mean, humans hold back cooperation, they hold back productivity. We're being inundated with information. We get more information on a daily basis than a person received in a lifetime in 1900. We're being attempted to be sold 62.1 times a day. We're guarded. People are guarded, they're protected. So
Yeah,
our reserve of cooperation and productivity is held back. And when you can validate somebody, when you can listen, truly listen to understand by asking them questions and creating a really safe environment. So I think one of the things I bring to the table is just safety. I mean, I think I've required it in my life so much, and I've needed comfort and safety that I've become a safe person to other people. So there's one benefit of all of my comfort is I become safe with other people, and practicing this validation piece um, really tapping into allowing other people to be heard and understood so that their cooperation and productivity comes out. They're no longer guarded. They're no longer
yeah,
protected. Now they're speaking things to you that's their genius. That's really that part of them inside that is their genius. So if we look at parts work, we say there's different parts of us. That best part of them is in there, but a lot of times it doesn't come out until it's heard or understood and really validated. So I
okay.
think what we do really well is validate people at that level and help them come up. So once we do that, then people are, they're speaking up, they're speaking out, and then they hear something inside of themselves. It's like, oh yeah, that. Let me do that. The answers within themselves come out.
So good.
Um, yeah.
Amazing. And I can sort of relate to that. We tend to have that imposter syndrome, right? Where like, you're not good
Mhm.
enough. You shouldn't be doing this. And then I've experienced this in my life where that validation, where somebody asks you a specific question about something, and you answer like all the words just like they flow out, right? Like, where did that come from? I actually have knowledge. I have skills. I have something to share. And your process is
Absolutely.
obviously helping people tap into that and release that experience and knowledge inside of them that's already there, that they've lived a life of already understanding, right? That's so powerful. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's right on. It's right on.
So
It's right
good.
on.
And I love that. And I think so many people don't realize the potential that they have, right? And it's all hidden and they just need that conduit or that place or that person to ignite that spark and to let them realize who they truly are.
Yeah, I think we all, I mean, all we are, like you said, conduit, right? It's if we're a conduit, Matthew, we're really um, other people are their nervous system is regulating with our nervous system, and so if you can create a safe environment for somebody's nervous system to get into a safe environment, a safe place, then who knows what's
So
there?
good.
There's also
Who knows what the
genius.
potential is? It's the mastermind effect, right?
Yeah,
And
totally.
so turning experience into let me say it again. Turning experience into expertise. So many entrepreneurs that we just discussed, right? They underestimate the power of their personal journey.
Mm.
What's the common hidden expertise you've helped clients discover, and how do you guide them to see their true market value?
I I think there's definitely patterns. I think the genius that I think we help people find in them, you could call it their sovereign, if you will, their king or their queen. If we're looking at archetypes, being able to tap into that part of them that sees the bigger scope of things and sees the bigger vision, and makes decisions from their prefrontal cortex instead of from their limbic system.
Love that.
Um, I think I think that's the part we want to tap into and get them in that. The cliche is their best self.
Yeah.
But I think it's that higher self really being able to be in that space to make decisions. That's the place I want them making. I want to get my clients making decisions from. And then, hey, what is it that they ultimately want? What's the vision they have for themselves that they're moving towards? And then what's in the way? let's move it. Let's shift it. Let's get it out of the way. Let's reframe it. Let's understand it different. Let's paradigm shift it. But it's like in business. It's not it's not if you hit a plateau. It's when. You know that, Matthew. It's like, hey, we're gonna hit the plateau. At some point, you're gonna hit this space. You're gonna have some growth, some ups and downs, and then there's gonna be a plateau period. What do you do in that plateau period? Um, if your survival brain is in that plateau period, needing certainty, and there's all of this uncertainty going on, that's what takes down most people's businesses. That's what I've seen. So if we can get people to welcome the plateau, know the plateau's coming, welcome the discomfort that they're going to experience, pivot by learning a new skill or working with a new person or identifying something that they need to do different and opening up to that thing quicker, then yeah, you might have some slide at first. Like it's going to be difficult for a while and maybe you don't get all the results, but you're willing to do that because you know you're growing to eventually have a spike in your business because every
Oh,
business is done this.
yeah,
So, it's welcoming that part and tapping into that and being okay, especially when we start to freak out and
yeah,
survival brain starts to distort things and makes up stories and generalizes and forgets about all the great stuff that's going on. It's like getting people to understand that that's a process and not run from it, but welcome it
the
and
survival
be willing.
brain
Yeah.
kicking. The survival brain kicking in can cause a lot of problems, right? Lots of other voices going on. So good. I love it. This is so valuable. I really appreciate that, Brandon. Sharing a bit of your story. You've done
Yeah.
this is extraordinary. You've launched over 100 successful courses. Like that's insane. Like there's a lot of work that goes into courses and creation and the design and all that kind of stuff. Like what when you talk about these things, what are the non-negotiable elements of a course that not only generates revenue but creates deep, lasting transformation for the participants? How would you go about creating that?
Well, I think some non-negotiables would be the first thing you got to do is you got to ask your perfectionist and your critic to do something else while you're creating a course. So
Uh,
you gotta get rid of not get rid of, but you gotta have the perfectionist and critic go somewhere else while you create this and while you put this together.
how would you help people do that?
I think it's understanding how and where it shows up, the pivotal moments that shows up. Like, where does your perfectionist show up, and how does it show up? What does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? What is that pattern that shows up? And sometimes it's redefining what success and failure are for you. So your perfectionist just wants success, but maybe you need to redefine what success is. And like, hey, I'm successful as long as I'm working on this, instead
Yeah.
of I've got to achieve results and I can't fail. So sometimes it's redefining what some of the emotions are that you're experiencing. And that's what we help people do. So, hey, let's rewrite your rules, if you will, around perfection and failure or success and
Wow,
failure.
so good. And what
Yeah.
so what would make a what would like that is so important, right? Your critical brain and your perfectionist. Like so many of us are like perfectionists sometimes. This has to be perfect. I can't release it out there until it's perfect, right? You got a couple more dots, I's to dot here, and maybe a little bit of graphic here, and it just it causes people not to get the thing done, right? But let's talk about what generates revenue. If somebody was going to come to you and work with you to create a course, what would a profitable course look like? What are those steps or those important parts of it?
We got to create an irresistible offer. So we all know we have to have some sort of offer that's irresistible. So the language we use in the offer, the way we communicate it, the results that people are going to get, we've got to have a really clear offer that people, um, it's clear, it's concise, it gives results, and it's proven. So we've got to have some sort of an offer. We've got to create a system. We got to walk them through some sort of a system, whether or not, I mean, how I learned to be, to deal with adversity, how I learned resilience is I created a system. I like step back. What did I do? I did this, this, this. So I have a resilient system. So there's got to be a system, there's got to be a really good offer, the communication that goes within those things, and then you've got to have a good deliverable. So whether or not that's a masterclass or a challenge, or which is what people are doing today, or a party, or an event, or a webinar, or what's a deliverable that you can tap into that you become masterful. So then it's just rinse and repeat. So you become a master at your deliverables. So those are the components that we work with people to have to get their course going because the content's not that hard. The content's simple. We got to have some
Yeah,
good content in your
yeah,
course, but that's all in there. It's just organizing it. It's creating the
right.
system. We break down the system, we organize it. That's all in there and built into there. We just have to create a really good system and organize it in a way that gets people results and then go out and be able to speak that to people in a way that 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 they're willing to pay you for.
So what I'm hearing is that one of the core ingredients is structure. So it needs to be your course or program needs to be structured in a specific way, and maybe that's where a lot of people get stuck with is how do I structure my course, right? What are the what are the chapters or what are the pieces that go where? And once you have that clarity, then going and doing it is just a matter of, hey, this part means this. Let me talk about this. Now you can just like all the stuff comes out of your head, right? Is that what it is?
So it's so easy for me because I've done so many courses, but it'd be like somebody who says I've written 50 books or 100 books. And it's so easy to write a book. And then somebody's like, I don't know how do I what is chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3? But somebody that's written 100 books knows how to go through writing a book. What do you do first? Maybe you come up with the title first. I don't know. Maybe you come up with the cover first. Maybe you just start. I'm not sure the structure of a book, but I know the structure of a course. And there is. It's simple. It's simple. It's basic. But the only reason people don't do it is because maybe they haven't walked through it. They don't know it. They haven't seen it. They haven't done it. That's where we come in because we have done it. And then we've reverse engineered it and say, here's where we start, right? Let's just start with creating your 10-step system or 8-step system or 7-step, whatever we create. This is the system to get people the results. Now,
Um,
let's take your content and let's structure it in a way that turns into a 9-week course or a 14-week course or a 3-year course. I don't think anybody wants to do a 3-year course right now, but whatever it looks like,
oh,
right?
not these
You
days. Things are happening too quick.
could have workbooks. Like you have a workbook with something and how to design a workbook and how to create like just the basic model of a workbook, how you ask questions within a workbook, and then you have a box where you engage people to fill stuff out. So that's how simple it is to create a course or a system that people pay you for. Not always
And simple,
easy to walk through it, but that's
yeah.
why we're here doing that.
That's why you're doing what you're doing, of course. And simple
Yeah.
is where the value is, right? Because a lot of people overcomplicate things, and maybe that's a big barrier or hurdle that people go through. Like I know when I first started my courses back in the day, I had no idea what a structure looked like. I had no idea what the steps looked like. I had no idea how to address all those things. And it's like you as the expert, it seems simple to you, but for the millions of people out there, obviously it needs to be done in a certain way. It's not just writing steps. It's like these steps have to have meaning, and you're creating that meaning in the whole process, and that's value, right?
It is. I remember, Matthew, 25 years ago when I first started coaching, back in the day when people would say, what team do you coach for? And I'd say the team of life. And they'd hang up on me.
So
But
good.
um, I paid somebody, I paid a company to become a coach and use their material because I had no idea how to create a course. How do I create a course? Like
Wow.
I
Yeah.
learned all these things. Like I'd gone through Tony Robbins, became a facilitator for Bob Proctor and all
Wow.
these different programs, but I'm like, how do I facilitate my own? So for the first few years of my coaching business, I paid top dollar to utilize somebody else's material, and they would get a workbook and they would get the structure of somebody else's system. And that's how I coached for the first few years, which cost me, thousands and thousands of dollars.
But
And also not,
you accelerated the learning for yourself, and then you adapted that into a model for yourself so you could help your clients accelerate.
totally. And so today they don't have to become a coach for this program or this program, or they don't have to buy somebody else's material. They get to create their own. And it's simple. It's so, so simple. I didn't know then what I know now for sure. But
You've
yeah,
cut out
I,
it's $1 million worth of experience, knowledge, and skills, maybe even more, that you bring to the table that people get to tap into, and you're accelerating that journey faster than anyone else can do it, right? Using your system.
totally, totally. They get to start from their own. Like there were so many times I would read something and I'd be like, if that wasn't in that workbook, I don't really want to cover that, or I don't want to go through that. That's not really me. That doesn't sound like that's somebody else's story. That's something else. That's another piece that I'm not really bought into, but I was using somebody else's model. And the day that set me free, when I had my own model, when I had my own course, when I had my own workbook, when I had my own class, and I was like, this is our 10-week class. This is our 6-month coaching program. And it's stuff I've created, it's videos I've done. It's like, oh man, it was freedom. But there was a lot of trial
Wow.
and error. There was a lot of
Yeah.
money. There was a lot of time spent in learning that process. So we're cutting all that out for people today.
Now you've generated over $10 million doing that. Like, that's insanely beautiful, and you're helping so many people get transformation in their journey, creating courses. Like, it is a foundational, pivotal piece in growth, right? Especially these days. If you've got your own process, if you've got your own program course, you can do so many things from that, right? Speaking gigs,
Totally.
you can speak to other people. You got so much information you can talk from. It's just huge, right?
You can do it around anything. Then you can do it around, anything. I
That's amazing.
if you,
Sorry.
you don't have to be like I literally wrote here's what I did. I wrote a program and sold the program on how to fly fish. Now,
Ooh,
but here's what I did. So I've only been fly fishing for 3 years, right? So I have no idea how to catch the 40-pound trout. Like I have no idea how to catch that salmon that's just I don't know. I don't know how to do that. But here's what I do know. I know how to start fly fishing as a hobby. So I know what rod to buy. I know what all the things you need to buy when you want to start fly fishing. I know what flies to go to. I know where to find the information. Like I know all of that stuff. So I save people this enormous amount of time going and learning how to fly fish so they can start day one catching fish. Now, I'm
so
not an
good.
expert,
Yeah.
but I can teach them. But because I know how to build a course, I built it in, few hours. And all of a sudden now I have a course that I can put online and people can buy and get a couple of videos and a PDF and voila, they have saved so much money and so much time because now they can take up fly fishing as a hobby.
So
So,
simple, and there's people who are into fly fishing all over the world, right? So it doesn't
yeah,
just limit you to one place. Like in Australia, they have fly fishing, in Canada, in America, and all over the world. Brazil, I'm pretty sure, and whatever, right? So you've created
totally.
one course from information that you've put together and been able to distribute it out there to in an area where people are going to need some information like that, and you can literally sell and monetize that. Amazing.
And I did it when I'd only ever caught 2 fish.
Cool.
So it wasn't teaching people how to catch big fish. It was teaching people how to take up fishing as a hobby.
And all they need, and then you could teach them how to catch their first two fish, right? And I love that
how to catch
analogy
how to catch
because
their first fish. I know how
yeah,
to
their
do that.
first fish. Yeah,
Now I'm
that's
working
it.
on like the bigger fish for sure. But somebody the other day came to us and said, "Hey, I want to learn how to. I'm doing this thing where I flip a couch." And I said, "You flip a couch? How do you flip a couch?" They're like, "You know how you flip houses?" You go in, you buy a house that's run down, you fix it up, and then you sell it for more money. She said, I'm doing that with couches. And I went, okay. She said, I want to create a course on teaching other people how to do it because I'm literally making $10,000 a month flipping couches and I'm only spending about 10 hours a month doing it. And I'm like,
Wow.
okay, that sounds cool. And she's like, so I want to create a course to teach other people how to do this so they can make that kind of money. And I'm like, why would you not be able to charge like $5,000 to teach people how to make 10 and sell it one time, and then you're selling it to numerous people all over, and you create the course, you create the program, you teach people how to do this, what products to buy, how to get engaged in it, where to go, where to find couches that are you can flip. Like I
Good.
don't even know where to do
Yeah.
this thing, but she's the
Yeah.
expert. And so now she's
So
got a
good.
course that she's doing and she's making money from that. We taught her how to structure the course, how to make an offer, how to put it together, and how to go out and now she has a course on flipping couches.
It's
Which
one of the things that you highlight there is these couple of niches that you're talking about are so unique and interesting, and people often have this notion that every idea is taken out there. I couldn't possibly find a place to fit in. There's so much competition. How do I make money? Like, how does this even feel? I'm sure you've heard it, right? And like, you've just told me about these two amazing things that this opportunity out there. You just got to find it, right? You just got to go and look and go through the process.
and most people already have they have some expertise inside them. They have some education. Somebody's been in the corporate world somewhere and worked somewhere, or they've learned something from someone that is marketable. People want to pay them for that. I know people that have been in, their jobs for, 20 years. They're done. They're finished. They're burnt out. There's knowledge from that job. There's expertise. There's education from that job that they can turn into a course. So
Wow,
easy.
so
We're able to
amazing,
pull that
right?
out of people just like that. So even if they don't know what it is they want to go out and offer or turn into a course, we're able to within a very short time help people tap into whatever education expertise, something they love, and turn it into a course. Um, again, by just using a system.
So amazing. So reframing a little bit of the adversity for growth, right? It's central to your work, reframing the adversity, using the adversity to create stuff, right? Can you walk us through a framework or a set of questions or someone can use in real time? They can find themselves falling back into old patterns and limiting beliefs, how they can pull themselves into that, staying focused in direction. Um, Help us with that.
I, Here's what I found is that, I mean, the average person today has 60,000 thoughts a day. So that's a lot of noise. Um, if you're trying to wrangle every single habit and every single thought and every single thing that comes into your life, every negative thought, every old pattern, if you're trying to wrangle everything like that, just becomes overwhelming. And it just becomes it's like a full-time job to like get your mind in the right place. Here's what I found. If we can identify three moments, we call them pivotal moments, three moments that happen day to day that are really critical moments. Maybe it's when you slip back into an old pattern. Maybe it's a moment where perfection shows up. Maybe it's a moment where there's an old wound activated or something triggers you. But if we can identify three of these moments that make up your day, day to day, and we can get really clear about these moments, give them a name so we identify them, so we can separate them from all the other noise that's going on. We can give them a name and say, here's the name of this moment. It's my perfection moment, or the moment that, my wife gets controlling, or whatever that thing may be. Um, but identifying a moment, giving it a name, and then know what your sabotaging thoughts are going to be like when they show up. So, hey, what's my old pattern? What's my old behavior? What's my sabotage that's going to show up in that moment? And get really clear about that so that when it shows up, you're not surprised. It's like when I first started eating extremely healthy, I knew one of my pivotal moments was my refrigerator moment. It's the moment I opened up the refrigerator because that's when all my sabotage would show up. You deserve to eat whatever you want. Oh my gosh, it's been a rough day. You didn't sleep well. You're craving this. Eat that. Eat that. I even found my brain so creative, it would say things like, your clients will relate better to you if you're overweight. Like, so I'd eat anything, right? So
Wow.
it's recognizing all your sabotage that shows up in that moment so that you're prepared for it. And then you have a reframe or an on second thought process. So my on second thought process for that pivotal moment would be, hey, how am I going to feel 10 minutes from now if I eat the cheesecake? How will I
Yeah.
feel 10 minutes from now if I eat the carrots? So that's my reframe. But the key is that I'm identifying three pivotal moments. I'm not trying to identify 15 or 20 or trying to capture them from all over the place, but I'm just getting clear about what are three. So for my health, it was what are three pivotal moments for my health. For my business, it'd be what are three pivotal moments for my business. What's all the sabotage that's going to show up in that moment? What's my reframe or my more empowering thoughts in that moment? And once you have that game plan, now all you have to worry about is those three moments. You have to worry about it, but all you have to focus on are those three moments instead of everything that goes on.
Breaking it
So,
down into smaller pieces and then just identifying the core ones that are super getting you down, right? And then just addressing those. I like the idea that you named them. What do you do with those names? How do you, what is the purpose of naming them, and how do you address those? So is it like, hey, Bob, you're showing up again? Like,
it's
what is that? What is it?
it's pretty much it. I mean, you might, if you think about it, if you want something, if you want to be aware of something, you have a name for it. If you have 60,000 thoughts, how are you going to segment all that noise? If I can
Gotcha.
name something and I give it a name, I mean, we give our pets names. We give, if we have a pet goldfish, we give it a name. So we can identify it, right? So
Yeah.
naming something allows us to identify or recognize or be more aware or conscious of it. So that part
And
of
then
our brain,
reprimand it.
there you go. Or
Reprimand it.
reprimand it gets interesting, or be a little bit kinder to it and recognize that, hey, that might be a part of you that's been, um, I don't know, judged for a long time, or maybe even
Right.
abandoned. And so you may have to, be a little kinder to that part of you and be like, hey, but I want to make a better decision here.
So
Like
good. I
that part
love
of
that.
me doesn't get to make the decision right now.
So
Yeah.
good. That is so powerful. I'm getting goosebumps listening to that. So awesome. All right.
But
So you have this amazing three guide that we're going to share with our listeners today. It talks about getting crystal clear on what makes them uniquely valuable. What are the most overlooked ways business owners can express this authenticity and connect with the right people? Talk to us a little bit about your that model and what it is you're trying to help people with.
yeah, I mean, we want to be ourselves, right? We want to be open. We want to be vulnerable. We want to be in our authenticity. But we also really want to impress. And we do a lot of judging. Our our brain likes to judge. Our survival brain likes to judge. And here's the problem: you can't influence the people you judge. So we also have a fear of judging or a fear of getting judged. We have a fear of getting judged. And the more judging we do, the more fear we have of getting judged. We want to get people into a place where they can eliminate that, get rid of all that judgment. They're not trying to one up themselves. They don't one down themselves. We can eliminate judgment and do our best to recognize that survival brain when it shows up and get into our authenticity the best we can. Awaken that part of us that is alive. Um, and then go to a place where we create drive, and instead of waiting to get motivated or waiting to get excited, but to get driven. So I know a lot of that worksheet is, hey, how do we get you in a driven space? How do we get you in your authenticity, get you in a driven space so you're speaking to people where they feel comfortable? their mirror neurons, which is that radar system built within all of us, picks up good energy from somebody. It's not like, they're picking up the wah, 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 or the desperation, but they're picking up that person's real, they're human, they're genuine, they're authentic.
Yeah.
I can relate. So now if I can relate, I can hear. I can hear what they have. If people can be relatable, then people will trust them. And if people will trust them, they'll listen to them. If they'll listen to them, they'll buy from them.
So
But if
good.
they're not relatable, it becomes a challenge.
And is that part of your process, helping the people become relatable? That's what that's all about, right?
Yeah, we need to break down. I mean, we being vulnerable and being authentic. I mean, how many times has that been brought up? I mean, it's now a cliche. If you have to talk about authenticity, is it really authenticity? But um, I think it's critical.
I
I think it's
like that.
critical.
Is it really authenticity? And then that's a part of the process of, if you're authentic, does it mean that you're sellable? Like, does it mean that you're a market in the market, right? Because you can, and I find this in the fine line, right? It's like you can be authentic, but if you're sitting there crying about yourself and you're being your authentic self, and people are going to turn off because that's not the authenticity that they're looking for. They're looking for a very specific type of authenticity. Is that right? Like, I see it a lot.
Yeah,
People like, that's a bit too authentic because you want to
I
be
like
marketable in your authenticity.
totally. Brene Brown calls it spotlighting, where they tell too much. They're over vulnerable. They
Yeah,
overshare. And then it's kind of like having a big spotlight on you. You're like, oh, like that's too much. Like
I like that.
people that sit on TikTok or wherever and just cry, that's not really authenticity. That's like sharing, that's too much. So
Yeah,
there is a space to go too much. And I think that's what you're talking about. And yeah, that's not authenticity.
yeah. It's an interesting the dynamic, and I think we people that are pros at the authenticity part get it and understand that there is a level, and it's empathy, right? For me, I understand that if you're connecting with your audience and you're being authentic, it's connecting on a level of empathy where they feel like they're connecting with you. Because as soon as that
Yeah.
empathetic bond is broken, you're now losing them. There's disconnect, right? But if you can empathetically connect with them on that level, then there's a communication happening.
Yeah.
So
It's
I love,
listening to understand, right? Listening
yeah,
to
listening
understand
to
instead
understand.
of
Love
listening
that.
to respond, which is what most of us, I think, get stuck in.
Listening to respond. Yeah, everyone wants to respond first, right? Well, I've got something better to say.
Hey, I
Hey,
did it with you. You're asking me questions. I'm like, I want to respond. I want to respond. I'm like, wait, let's listen to Matthew. Like, step into his world. Matthew, tell me
there's
more about how it feels to, yeah,
Yeah, there's a whole dynamic happening in the podcast thing, and I like, my purpose here is to help the listeners understand you and get some insights from your business experience. You've been around doing stuff for many, many, many years. The people out there that want to have that level, and in order to have a level of success and growth in business, you need to spend time listening to people that have had success. And it might not be epiphany, it might not change you forever, but if you just took a couple of the nuggets that you've spoken about today, I know there's impact and huge growth for anybody that's willing to listen to it. Some of the stuff we've been talking about is amazing.
and I mean, you've done an incredible job asking me questions and then stepping back. And I'm sure you have wealth of knowledge you want to share and talk about, but you've done this really good job of being in an empathetic space with me, which has created a safe environment for me to be able to explore what I do and even think about things I wasn't even going to talk about. So you're doing an amazing job as a podcast interviewer. Like you're validating. You are doing a really good job listening to understand, which is super
Thank
cool.
you so much. I really appreciate that. I want to provide value to our listeners. That's the main thing I'm trying to accomplish here. So let's dive back into this, because there's still probably a little bit more to dive into here. You're known for, let me sorry, I'm just going to take a step back here. I got lost in my chain of thought. Um, so, facilitating rapid, deep change. You're known for helping people move fast, and go deep. We've talked quite a bit about this already. How do you create that environment, either in one-on-one or in groups, where honesty comes easily and breakthroughs really happen quickly? And I'm sure you have your own classes and your own coaching programs and stuff like that, and you're obviously talking to people around this type of topic. How do you, how does those breakthroughs happen? How do you facilitate that?
So, I mean, I've had the privilege of working with over 1 million people and 25 years in this business. So
Wow.
there's patterns that you watch with people. People aren't that different. I know everybody wants to be different, and we all have our own personalities for sure. And we all are different, but our patterns aren't that dramatically different. So here's what I know. When I hear somebody by just asking some questions, hey, tell me more about this, listening for clues, and then asking more questions about that, tell me more about that, and then listening for clues, tell me more about that. There's certain key words I want to listen to, like I feel this, or this is what's happening, or words that sort of shoot out at you. um, I'll say, tell me more about that. And I'll spend quality time in that space. And then within 5, 15, sometimes a half an hour, I know the patterns the people are running because I've seen other people run those patterns. So I'll test it a little bit and ask a few questions around that pattern. And if the answers are like, yes, 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 and the pattern's the same, I'm like, I've been through that pattern with somebody before. I've walked through that pattern and helped people shift out of that pattern using different tools that I've got from the best. Tony Robbins, Bob Proctor, John Maxwell, Jim Rohn, um, Brene Brown. I mean, the people that I've watched coach other people throughout the years, because I'm constantly like, I feel like I'm constantly learning and growing. So I'm constantly staying engaged in things and learning from people, learning from the next person, the next person, the next person, like constantly learning new things. And so I've got a tool for that particular pattern, whether it's, something I learned from Tony Robbins, or, and then I kind of put my twist on it, or it's something I got from Bob Proctor or whoever. But now I've seen that pattern. We have a tool to do something or to have them incorporate to move through that. And they have the answers, but I also have a tool I can walk them through to have them shift out of it. So I have the luxury of having, again, 25 years of lots of one-on-one calls, lots of engagement, lots of watching patterns. And so I can see those patterns show up faster, 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 faster. Um, and that's just years of experience. So that's just years of just being in it and watching it. So those
What I'm what
patterns.
I'm what I'm hearing is that you get the most important thing that you're doing here from helping people is that you're learning. Growth is learning, right? You've gathered knowledge and a wealth of knowledge and experience that you've cultivated and you've nurtured in your own business and your life and your mindset. One of the big takeaways that I recognize from what you just said before was that instead of telling people, you're asking them.
Correct. Right on. I
And
know there's six primary areas that people are going to run in some area. They're going to have difficulty with other people. They're going to have difficulty with themselves. They're going to have difficulty with doing things. They're going to have difficulty with certain ideas or concepts. They're going to have difficulty with their motivation, or they're going to have difficulty in some way, shape, or form with their journey in their life. And so I'm able to take and say it's one of those six areas, ask more questions, identify the pattern that that person is running, and then help them answer their own solution, not by asking guiding questions. Like, I don't say, don't you think you ought to try this? It's just simply help me understand. Tell me more. What's that like? And then it comes
very
out.
good.
And I go, what would you do in this situation? What's a new way to think? What's a new way to behave? Once we've identified that, what's a new way? that they know would work for them. And it's always there, but now they have more than just motivation or excitement to change it. They have drive
So
because
powerful.
we've
And
identified an need to get them to change.
when I compare that kind of process versus, I've been in a lot of coaching programs over the years, is the value of asking the right questions is so important. I see a lot of coaches and consultants out there when we go into these programs, all they want to do is tell, 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 tell. This is what you
Yeah.
must do. This is what you must do. This is what. But that dynamic shift in asking or extracting and diving deeper in through questioning is one of the most valuable and powerful things you can do with a human because, like you said, they have that inside of them. You just have the skill to help them unlock that beauty inside of them to release it.
Yeah, I think people need to be, if people are understood, if they're noticed, if they're heard, they release that cooperation and productivity, and then it comes out.
So
We just
good.
have to be patient enough to create that space for that to happen.
It's amazing.
And so, yeah, you got to kind of leave the ego aside for a minute and not just tell somebody, hey, here's the answer. If somebody else comes up with the answer themselves, they're 10 times more likely to follow it than getting advice from somebody else. Nobody wants to be
Good.
fixed.
Yeah. They want to fix themselves, right? That's the best way to be when you're doing any kind of process. If you are able to be in the environment around transformation where you're just hanging with people, answering questions and fixing yourself, that's the best place to be for me anyway. That's what I fully believe in.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
So, your mission is to deal in hope, build legacies, and help people rise. What does legacy mean to you, and how do you hope to work your ripple out into the lives and future of entrepreneurs? Let's dive into that legacy.
There's a financial piece to legacy, but and I love making money. I do. But the impact has to be even stronger for me. So legacy is how many people can you impact? How many people can I impact today? How how much can I impact? Um, and yeah, I want to make money. Of course, I want to make money. I want to run a business. If I'm not making money, it's going to be harder for me to impact others because now I'm focused on not making money, and now I get stuck in my limbic system, and now I'm not good to anybody. So, the legacy of impact, like I don't think of legacy as, oh my gosh, there's this many people at my funeral that are, you know, saying thank you. But I read a book a long time ago. I think it was called The Dash, and it was said, hey, when you look at a headstone, there's the date somebody was born and the date they died, and then there's a dash. And it was a simple book. It was like really basic, but it woke me up to what is that I do that's going to make a real impact? That somebody can say, "Oh my gosh, yeah, like I was impacted. I was influenced. I've impacted others." If I can teach, if I know how to change my own state, and then I can teach somebody else to change their state, or let's do it this way. If I can change my state and I can change somebody else's state, and then I can teach somebody to change somebody else's state. Now that's real legacy. Because what have I passed on? I passed on a skill that others can do, an impact, an impact, an impact. And how many, I mean, that's the matchbook, right? You light the one match and the whole thing goes up. Now that's real legacy. That's real legacy. I'd also
Wow.
like to leave, I'd also like to leave a financial legacy too. I'd like to leave my kids with some opportunities that I didn't have for sure.
So good, yeah. And it's finding the balance between purpose, passion, and profit, right? we want
Oh
to
my
we
God.
want to do them. Yeah.
That's it. That's Matthew, that's one of our courses.
Oh wow.
Passion, profit. Passion. It was how to build purpose, passion, and profit. That was it. That was it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Boom, I hit the nail on the head. And it's finding that balance, right, for all of us. We all want to leave things for our kids. We want to make change in people's lives, right? And we want to be
Mm.
passionate about what we're doing. Like, and it's, yeah, finding that balance. It's amazing. So, that's been an amazing session hanging out with you, Brandon. I really loved talking to you. Um, for listeners who feel, called to make a big impact and aren't sure where to start, what's one action they can take right now to unlock their hidden expertise and guide them from uncertainty and inspire them? Where would people find you? What would be the next steps? And how can they move forward with you?
I think we've always got something going on. So there will always be some event in some way, shape, or form, whether it's a master class or a some way to come get information from us and get a little bit more before do more with us. So if you go to brandonbarbercoaching.com, there's always going to be some masterclass, some challenge, some upcoming event that you can take part in and come get a taste of what we're doing and make some changes, and then you can work with us further if you decide that it's something you want to do. I would also give people, usually sparingly, but if you wanted to reach out and talk to me about how you could work with us individually, you can always email support@brandonbarbercoaching.com, and my admin will get that and get me the content if it's something you want to explore more. So emailing us is also an option to connecting in with us and finding out what we're doing next.
And also for the guys that are listening today, Brendan has got a free giveaway. We will connect that link below this video. You guys can check it out, get some cool information, and find out more about what these guys are doing. They're making huge change and helping people transform lives, creating courses, and helping people make an impact in their lives, for their families, for their businesses. What an amazing honor it's been. Brandon, catching up with you. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, you're an awesome podcaster. Like you're an interviewer. You did an incredible job. So it was my pleasure. Thanks, Matthew.
Thank you so much. Awesome.